All right, guys, we're going to start on this lesson, right? Function notation. You all got this sheet? Elijah, pay attention to this and you can come back to that in a bit, okay? So we're talking about functions convert inputs. It takes an input and it does something to it. It manipulates it somehow. Then it spits out an output. Typically, the input is the x and the output is the y, right? And the function is the rule. So we're just going to do exercise 1. This is how they write the function, okay? They say f of x means there's a function that they're naming with the letter f. Khalil. So this is the sheet that I just handed you. Guys, that sheet that's right in front of you, function notation? No, the other sheet that I put down. Right. So this is problem 1a, okay? They're saying f of x is equal to, I didn't give you? F of x is equal to 3x plus 7. We'll write it on the sheet. This is the first problem. Okay? So what this says is, and how you would pronounce this is you say f of x is equal to 3x plus 7. It means there's a function called f that takes an input x, and what it does is it multiplies the x by 3, and then it adds 7 to that to give you the output. Okay? So we're going to now evaluate what's f of 2. In other words, when the input is 2 or the x is 2, what would this thing equal? How are we going to figure that out?
3
Good. We're plugging, they're telling you the x is 2, so you replace the x with the 2. 3 times 2 is 6. What's 6 plus 7?
13.
So f of 2 is equal to 13. Simple as cake, right?
Okay.
You're just plugging it in. They're telling you, if they say, what would f be if the input or the x is 2? You say, okay, well, let me just put it into the rule. I'll substitute that for the x and do the math. And whatever you get is your output or your answer, okay? So what is f of negative 3? Negative 2? 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Negative 9 plus 7 is negative 2. Good. Simple stuff, right? We didn't get him a calculator? We didn't get your calculator?
I'm good, Mr. I got my brain.
All right. All right.
4.
So let's do 1b. 1b, they say, all right, we have a new function called g of x. G of x is equal to x take away 6 divided by 2.
So what the heck is G?
It's just another function, right?
Okay.
Instead of using x, you could use y or z or f. This is just another letter, so it's a new function.
So basically 20 minus 6 divided by 2.
Correct. You're just gonna again plug the 20 into the x.
How you got 17?
Huh?
What's 20 minus 6?
Right.
Divided by 2, 17. Thank you.
What?
17.
Yes, 17.
No.
No.
What's 20 take away? What's 20 take away 6?
23.
14 divided by 2 is 7.
7.
Fail factor.
This says 17, so.
Let me see. We'll do part of
Fail
Mind
factor.
your business.
Fail factor.
Oh,
He's so
because
Fail factor.
because of order of operations, you'd have to put it in like this. Okay. Whenever you put a fraction, it has to be parentheses, right?
Same thing. Just take a
What's
look.
g of 0 equal then? 3. No.
What? You'll take your 6 to 6.
No, it's not.
Negative 3.
Thank you.
Negative 6.
Negative 3.
Wow.
Well, no, negative. A 3 is not the same as a negative 3, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Everybody got this?
Yeah, Keegan.
Khalil, you been writing this?
What about C?
Keegan, I get to go out for lunch on Friday.
Congratulations. Good, so you can get me food now.
Okay, Jamie, no shop Friday.
Now, how you get to go out for lunch, brother? I don't know.
I think it's by being on the honor
You
roll.
can't say no. Nah, you can't say no about that.
All right, so C says, here's a new function called h of x that's equal to 2x plus 1. What would h of 4 be?
What the hell is it?
Yeah, I really forgot.
Oh, come on. This is easy. Well, first, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
They hate that back in the day.
Yo,
Plug in the 4.
Plug it in, right?
It's close to like a 90.
Now, this, everything, you do everything else underneath this little line first, okay? So what's 2 times 4? What's 8 plus 1? That was the square root of 9.
Are we square root
Julio.
because they got the.
Come on, move over there. No. Come on, you gotta go.
The square root of 9 is 3. Boy.
Square root of 9 is 3 is right.
That's crazy.
I mean, so
So you say h of 4 is equal to 3.
Okay, okay.
In other words, the output, when the input is 4, is 3. Or you can think of it as this, right? The 4 is the x and the 3 is the y, right? So what's the last one? H of 0?
Isn't it 1?
It is 1, yeah. 2 times 0 plus 1.
You use the calculator.
0 plus 1 is 1, so you're going to get the square root of 1, which is just 1. Does anybody have any questions about how we're getting these things? Right? We're just substituting, basically, right? We're just substituting and doing the math.
Yep.
Sorry. So far, so good? I think so. Can I erase? Sherlock. As in, no shit, Sherlock?
I mean, you gotta say the nicest. You know, say
All right, let's look at exercise 2. Exercise 2 says, here's a new function, f of x, and f of x, the rule is x divided by 3 plus 7.
yes, how do you do
So the first thing they want you to do is just describe in English what's being done to the input, or what's being done to the x.
It's being
Divided by 3 and added by 7.
It's being divided by 3, and then you add a 7 to it. Just write that in a little sentence, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, just say the input gets divided by 3, and then it has a 7 added to it. That's for 2A.
And it's added by 7.
You divide the input by 3, and then you add 7. Right, because PEMDAS says you have to do the division first, right? Right, you always got to follow PEMDAS rules, unless there's some parentheses involved.
Okay.
And then B says evaluate F6. And
Not F6, F of 6, say.
Alright, F of 6 say.
Not say, just F of 6.
No,
Okay. So what is F of 6 equal?
6. Oh, okay, okay. 6 divided by 3 plus 1.
Good. And what's 6 divided by 3?
3.
No.
2.
And what's 2 plus 7?
9.
Oh, I did it different, man.
Did you get 9?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I know you did. I'm talking to him.
I did it different. I did
Then you did it the wrong way.
Yeah, I did multiply. I did a multiply 3 on both sides.
Oh, you were trying to like solve for x or something. Yeah, we're not solving. You're just replacing it. Yeah, you're just substituting and doing the math.
Alright, so then negative 9 divided by 3, right?
4. 4. 4.
So that's negative 3 plus 7 is 4. Yeah, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Okay? Now here's where it gets just a tiny bit different. They're saying find the input for which f of x is equal to 13. You see how this is different from what they've been doing?
Okay.
What's different about this than these two? Right. Basically, before they were giving you the x and you just plug it in. Here they're saying, what would the x have to be if the output is 13? So somebody tell me what equation I could write
15.
to solve it. Huh?
But we using that same shit right there?
We're using the same
It gotta be
equation,
15. It
yes.
gotta be 15.
It's gotta be 15, not 15, you're close. You're close.
You got multiply and subtract?
All right, but first, how can I set up an equation that we can solve?
18, it gotta be 18.
The answer is 18, good. Just hang on a second. Can you explain how you did it? I know how you did it. All right, all right. How can, if they're saying f of x is equal to 13,
This is how you do it. You do 13 minus 7.
before you get there, hold on a second.
That's
I know. I want to get them to where they can actually just do the like equation, okay? So look, if f of x is equal to 13, what can I replace in here?
X,
Not the x.
the 3?
Nope.
No, the 7?
The X on top of it?
If f of x is equal to 13, what do you see in here that looks like f of x?
F of X.
If f of x is equal to 13, I should be able to replace the f of x with a 13, right?
Yeah.
And I'll get an equation that says 13 equals x divided by 3 plus 7. So how do we solve this for x? How do we get the x by itself now? Come on.
13 divided by 3?
Nope.
Oh, wait, you said x by
We
itself?
want to get the x by itself. What's the first thing we do?
Subtract
By
7.
3 on both sides.
Subtract 7 on both sides. Who said that?
Me.
That was you. You were the man.
I should have never said that.
You see that? When you sit by yourself, you get smart. You see that you just ruined yourself.
Nah, you just get bored. Stop paying attention.
Okay, well that's good though. It's good. What's 13 take away 7?
6.
And these cancel out. So we have 6 is equal to x divided by 3. How do we get the x by itself?
Times 3 is 18.
Multiply by 3 on both sides. Those 3's cancel and we get 18 is equal to x. And just to make sure we did it right, if we plug the 18 in now, right, we should get f of 18 we should get is equal to 13. What's 18 divided by 3?
6.
And 6 plus 7? I know what you did. You kind of said, well, what number when you add it to 7 gives you 13? And you were like 6. So this has to be 6. Well, what number when you divide it by 3 do you get 6? Oh, it's 18. I just want them, like, because if in case it had like, if it was a more complicated example, I want you guys to actually be able to get the equation, you know, just it's a little bit better that way, right? So 18 divided by 3 is 6, 6 plus 7 is 13. So it worked out, right? So you see the difference, right? Anytime you have an equation with two variables, f of x, or you can think of this as the y and the x, they could give you one of them and you can figure out what the other one is. So they could give you the x and then you could figure out the y, or they could give you the y and you can figure out what the x is. We just did it both ways, okay? Make sense?
So for D, with that, FX.
All right, yeah, D is the one that's a little bit tricky, okay? But
With the D, I mean with the FX equals 13, so it'll be 2 times 13.
you're close. You're close. Here, let's just do it together. Let me get rid of this for now. So they're talking about a new function now, okay? They're saying we have a new function called g of x, and g of x is equal to 2 times f of x minus 1. So what they're doing is they're saying this new function g, it actually uses this function as part of it, okay? So they're saying for g of x, first you have to find out what f of x is. Whatever that is, you multiply it by 2 and then subtract 1. So in order to find out what g of, what's number did they say?
6.
G of 6. We first have to find out what f of 6 is. And then subtract 1 from that. I think we just did that though. Didn't we just find out what f of 6 was?
So we gotta do both of them?
Well, yes. But look, what's 6 divided by 3?
2.
And what's 2 plus 7? We just did, okay? So now that we found out that f of 6 is 9, what can I do here? What do I replace?
F, the 9?
The f of 6 with the 9, because f of 6 is equal to 9. So we're going to take this 9 and stick it right in there instead of the f of x, because that's what it's equal to, right? We just found that. So really what this becomes is, it's 2 times 9 minus 1. That's an horrible 9. Well, what's 2 times 9? 18 minus 1 is 17. But so you see, they can actually define one function in terms of another one. So in order to find out what this is, you first have to find out what f of 6 is, and then kind of plug it in. Okay? There's not that many of these we're going to go over yet, but it's kind of good that you see how to do this. And if you're confused by this, don't worry, everybody is the first few times. Okay?
Yeah, you're just gonna give me to practice it.
Okay, I understand. All right, turn the page over.
Basically,
I'm not.
copying.
Whoa! I just saw your freaking sneakers.
Yeah.
Loud,
Mackerel.
loud, they loud,
Damn right.
loud, man.
Oh, they're mackerels. It looked like you mugged Mercury on the way here. You know the god Mercury? He had like wings on his ankles.
I think that's a different name.
Hermes.
Hermes.
One is Greek and one is Roman, I think. I don't remember which is which.
Wasn't there like 20?
Actually, he used to be on the dime before the what's his name? Dwight Eisenhower, who's on the dime now. Used to be the guy Mercury, and he had like a helmet with little wings on it,
Oh,
like the Flash. Can I erase that? Huh?
So good.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I like it.
That's it,
I
man.
watched that
Thank
episode. It's hard to keep up with for me.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like if you miss a week, you feel like you missed something, right?
Well,
If you miss a week, you feel like you missed something. I thought you were talking to me. All right.
Yeah, it is.
they got like 6.
So here.
I'm forgot about my side. That's a music. You ever heard Flash? Flash Points. It's called like. My son, who moms turned into Batman moms turned into Joker. And Bruce died, and his dad stayed Batman. She's so much
I didn't even get that.
that's crazy, bro.
Yes, you do.
Okay, let's stack my
All right, guys.
Yeah, my man straight gave me the runaround like about it. I was like, yo, that's just.
All right, folks. So here, this represents a function. Remember we said yesterday, the rule for a function can be given to you in 4 different ways:
No, I was in here yesterday.
as an equation, as a graph, as a table, or as words. This is a table, but this represents a function. They're saying what this is they have a big pot of water. They put it on the fire to boil. Once it starts boiling, they take it off and they just put it on a table in a room that's 65 degrees.
Oh, so
Every hour, they stick a thermometer in there and they measure the water. So as time goes on, what do you think is going to happen to the water?
it gets cooler.
It's going to get cooler. So when they first take it off, in other words, after 0 hours, when they just take it off, the temperature is 212 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes, sir.
This is degrees Fahrenheit, and this is hours. After 1 hour, what's the temperature of the water?
141.
Okay? So based on this, it says evaluate what would T of 2 equal. In other words, what's the temperature after 2 hours?
104.
104.
104 degrees. And what's T of 6?
68.
Right? 68 degrees and 104. Right? There's no math involved here because they give you a table. You're just looking at this is your H, or how many hours. That's your input. And you're looking at the number below it. That's the corresponding output. Now it says, for what value of H is T of H equal to 76? What would H have to be in order for the temperature to be 76 degrees? Yeah, 4 hours. They're basically saying after how many hours is the temperature 76? Well, here's 76, and it's 4 hours. So you'd say H equals 4. Got it? Between what 2 consecutive hours will the temperature be 100 degrees? Yeah, good. It would be somewhere in here, right?
So it would technically be 2.5.
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't?
No, because we don't know that it's precisely it's that precise where it's going to be right in the middle. All we can say for sure is that it's somewhere between 2 hours and 3 hours. Is it going to be closer to 3 hours or closer to 2 hours?
Close to 2.
Yeah, because it's only off by 4 here. This is off by 15, so it'll be closer to 2 hours. But you can't say precisely, okay? So between 2 and 3 for that. And let me just ask this question because I asked it earlier and I liked it. What would the temperature be after 9 hours?
I'll say like 40 something.
No.
30?
58.
Nope.
59.
30?
It's gonna be 64.
Nope.
Alright, 63.
Nope.
60.
65. 50?
65. Why?
Because the room is 65 degrees.
Yeah, good. Very good, right? So once it reaches 65, because that's how the temperature in the room, it's not going to get colder. It gets cooler because the temperature in the room is cooler. Once they get to be the same thing, they just stay there until something changes or whatever. But okay,
How am I
nice.
supposed to know the degrees is 65?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
the temperature of the room.
Because they give it to you in a problem. It says the room is 65 degrees.
Can I use laughing?
Yeah, no, that's good though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, this 212 degrees, that's the boiling temperature of water in Fahrenheit, okay? Does anybody know what the freezing temperature of water is?
Freezing.
32.
Very good, 32 degrees is freezing. You don't have to know that, but I don't know, when I was a kid, we all had to know that. Boy, I remember that since I was like,
Wait, what that mean though? Like, tell me.
that means, yeah, like if there's a lake or something, once the temperature of the water gets to 32 degrees, it turns to ice.
Boiling point is 120, 112?
No, 212.
Oh, yeah, 212, yeah, 212.
Yo, I saw a video. It was a soap bubble, and like it just started freezing or something. It was the way it started.
Well, you know, there's also videos now where they have, like in Russia, where it gets like 30
Right.
degrees below zero or something. Where they have a bucket of water and they open up the window, they throw it out, it just turns to ice instantly. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
You gotta do that with hot water though. Can't do that.
I think you're right. Yeah,
that's
Hot water
right.
freezes fast.
yeah, it's weird. It's interesting, and we can't do that here because it doesn't get that cold here.
I don't know.
Anyhow,
I don't even want to get that
Um,
cold. Like,
does anybody know what the
Drop right back.
boiling temperature of water is in degrees Celsius?
Celsius.
Yeah. Or the freezing temperature.
Celsius is lower, so it's like.
And this is interesting because this is the whole reason why they came up with Celsius, actually.
Is it like 54 Celsius?
Why did they come up with Celsius?
I'll show you in a second, as soon as we get this. Anybody remember what the boiling temperature of water is Celsius?
Yeah,
Can I search it up?
you don't really do substance.
But, yo, I was gonna. Nah, that's crazy. That was gonna be my first guess. I swear to
All
God.
right.
I swear to God.
And what do you think the freezing temperature of water is Celsius?
Yo, I can't believe that was the right answer.
Lower.
I didn't say it. Yeah, that's crazy.
Five.
Lower.
0.1, something like that? 1? Oh, 0?
And that's the whole reason why they came up with it, because they said, well, 212 and 32 degrees, those are the most important temperatures to us. So let's create a scale that just goes from the freezing temperature of water to the boiling temperature of water. And that's really all it is. It's a way of, you know, there's
Yo, that was
manipulations
gonna
you
be
can do
my
here from one to the other.
first guess. Like, you don't even understand.
I believe you. I
You
believe
do
you.
not understand. Like, I was
So next
like,
time you'll actually say it, maybe, right?
I'm out of heart next time.
Okay. All right, let's move on.
That's crazy.
So we had a little science interlude, huh?
Yeah, word.
And this one I'm actually going to bring up on the screen. Just it'll be easier if you do that way.
You ain't tell us why I ain't created Celsius.
Because it goes from 0 to 100. It goes from like the freezing temperature of water up to the boiling temperature of water. Because those two temperatures are like really important. They're always talking about with science. So they said, well, let's make that the bottom level and the high level, and everything is in between it. It just makes it easier when you're talking
Yeah,
about
see,
like
yeah.
water and stuff.
So
Anyway.
what about like 212? Like that's 100 and Fahrenheit. Celsius.
That's 100 in Celsius degrees. Yeah, it's 212 in the Fahrenheit scale, 100 degrees in the Celsius scale. Okay, good. Here we go. Have we seen this type of function before, this type of graph before? We have like they're straight lines, but they meet at weird angles and stuff?
Yep.
We've seen this before?
Zone.
Okay. It's called the piecewise function, just in case. A piecewise function means it's made up of straight lines that meet at weird angles, let's say. And we'll talk more about this over the next few days. But right now, this represents this function f of x. Now notice they didn't give us an equation or anything, so we don't really know what the actual function is, but they gave us a picture of it. Okay? So now it says evaluate each of the following. What would f of 1 be? Well, does that represent the x or the y? The x. So if the x is 1, where does that line intersect the graph?
4.
Where, so you say the y is 4. So f of 1 is equal to 4.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So what's f of 5? In other words, when the x is 5, what would the y be?
-2.
1, 2, 3, 4. Here's your x is 5, and so it would be right there. Right? Good. It's -2. What's f of -3 then?
Between 2 and 3 hours.
What is it?
-4.
-4. Oh, yeah, did Jasmine do all the work today?
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, good. So that's somebody else's
Finish
answer.
up, finish up, finish
The
up.
last one's 2.
So she does it. Okay, good. But does everybody see where I'm getting these numbers from?
Yeah.
Marcus, you see what we're doing?
Just got in and catch me up. 5 seconds.
So this is the graph of this function they're talking about, y equals f of x.
That's fine.
And so to evaluate what f of 1 is, they didn't give us a rule or anything. You have to use the picture of the graph.
Okay.
So it said when x is 1, what's the y? Well, here's where x is 1. There's your 0, 0. So
Right.
where does the graph intersect with that line? And it's right up here.
4.
So the value of y there is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all we're doing. We're reading it right off the graph.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay? So now, down here, though, they're saying,
So
Hey,
each
Martin.
of the following for all
Martin.
values. What?
Martin Mora. You know, I can check to see how much time you spent on these things. So it says solve the following for all values of x that make this statement true. So they're basically saying what value of x would make the y be equal to 0? Where's y equal to 0 here?
The 2.
Huh?
The 2, right?
No, that's where x is equal to 0.
You said y equals to 0?
Yeah.
Isn't it basically like line here?
Yeah. It's actually this line here.
Right.
Let me use a different color for the y. Right? The x-axis is where the y is equal to 0 because you're not going up or down.
You
So
know, all colors.
how many places does the graph cross that gold line, the yellow
Twice.
line? Huh?
3 times.
3 times. Right here, right
There.
here,
Mm.
and right there. So what's the value of x right here?
-1.
Good. X is -1. What's the value of x here?
4.
X equals 4. And then the last one,
6 or 7?
I think it's 7, right?
Yeah.
5, 6, 7. All right, now one last one here. How many places does the graph cross when the y is equal to 2?
How many, what?
How many places does the graph cross? So first of all, where's the y equal to 2, right? They're giving us the y. So if this is where y is 0, where's y equals 2?
Right there.
Where?
Right
Do I
there.
go up or down?
Up.
How many?
2.
Good. So it's that line right there. How many times does the graph cross that line?
2.
So what's the value of x there?
2.
Nope.
Oh, wait, 1?
X equals
Right there.
2.
No, it's
The
not
y
1.
is equal to 2.
It's not 1?
How does it not X equal 2? Oh!
Oh, okay.
The x. What's the x equal?
4?
Nope.
No. 3.
Hang on, look. You always start at the center here, the 0, 0, the origin, right? So to get from here to here, what value of x, am I going to the left or the right? How many?
To the right.
How many am I going to the right?
1.
How many am I going to the right?
3.
I'm confused.
All
That's
right.
3?
No.
Hey,
I'm not sure if I'm looking up or to the right.
The x, right? The x, you always go to the right or the left. So for me to get from here to here, how much to the right or the left am I going?
2.
Nope.
2 spaces up.
None. How do we say
Zero.
none in math? X equals 0. And what about, what's the value of x right there?
That's 1, 2, 3, 3.
Okay? That's what they're asking. What's the largest output achieved by the function? In other words, what's the highest, the biggest y value? What's the tallest place that the graph reaches? Yeah, it's that point right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just say y equals 4. It says at what x value does it hit it? What's the value of x right there? 1. So you could say, instead of writing it like that, you could just say f of 1 is equal to 4. You could put it all into one thing, or you could write it like that. Okay? That was perfect. Everybody knows all about this stuff now, right? Aren't you glad you came to school today?
What happened?
Who, me?
Glad too, man.
I like it. It says, well, I sit by myself, I get bored, so I figure I might as well pay attention.